Picture this, Europe 1518. Nights are shiny, peasants are smelly, and everyone's afraid of the plague. But not the bubonic kind you're thinking of. This plague was weirder, much weirder. Imagine a whole city gripped by the urge to dance. For days. Without stopping. No, they weren't listening to killer lute music. This was the dancing plague of 1518, and it's as strange as it sounds. Our story starts in Strasbourg, a city that liked its wine as much as its waltzes. One minute folks were chilling, the next they were doing the jitterbug like their lives depended on it. But here's the kicker. It did depend on it. This wasn't some fun street party. People danced until their bodies gave out. Exhaustion, heart attacks, you name it, the dance floor was unforgiving. The craziest part, this wasn't some isolated incident. The dancing plague wasn't a one-hit wonder. It toured Europe like a medieval Beyoncé, popping up here and there for centuries. But the 1518 outbreak? That was the encore that made history books scratch their heads. Now, you might be thinking, couldn't they just stop dancing? Good question, my friend. But it wasn't that simple. The dancers weren't just grooving to their heart's content. They seemed possessed, driven by some unseen force. They'd writhe and jerk, their faces twisted in pain, begging for the music to end. But there was no music, just the relentless beat of their own tortured bodies. Chroniclers of the time tell us that some danced until they collapsed from exhaustion, their bodies spent. Others suffered heart attacks or strokes, their systems pushed to the breaking point. The stench of sweat and desperation filled the air, a grim reminder of the toll this bizarre plague was taking. Authorities, initially amused, were soon scrambling for a solution. They tried everything they could think of, hiring musicians to play calming melodies, bringing in strong men to restrain the dancers, even calling upon priests to perform exorcisms. But nothing worked. The dancing plague raged on, a macabre spectacle that captivated and terrified Europe. So what in the world caused this mass dance-off from hell? Theories abound, each more outlandish than the last. Some whisper of religious fervour, claiming the dancers were possessed by a dancing demon, a medieval footloose situation, if you will. Others point to ergot poisoning, a fungal affliction that can cause hallucinations and spasms. Imagine eating bad bread and ending up in a week-long rave. Scary stuff. But the leading theory among us modern folk is mass psychogenic illness, also known as mass hysteria. Imagine the stress of the times, famine, disease, religious upheaval, enough to make anyone want to shake it off, literally. Throw in a dash of superstition, a sprinkle of peer pressure, and you've got yourself a recipe for a citywide dance-off. Whatever the cause, the dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's most baffling events. It's a stark reminder that sometimes truth is stranger than fiction, and that even in the face of the unknown, sometimes all you can do is dance. Or, maybe just tap your foot a little. Centuries have passed, but the dancing plague still makes us shimmy with curiosity. Why? Well, for starters, it's just plain weird. I mean, mass fainting we've heard of. Mass hysteria over witches, sure. But a dance epidemic? That's some next-level strangeness. Plus, it's a reminder that humans are strange creatures. We're capable of amazing things, but also of bizarre, inexplicable behavior. The dancing plague is like looking into a warped mirror, reflecting back a distorted version of ourselves and the power of the mind, or lack thereof, over our bodies. And let's not forget the mystery. Was it a bizarre illness, divine intervention, alien mind control? Okay, maybe not that last one, but the fact that we still don't have a definitive answer keeps the story alive, sparking debate and capturing our imaginations. So the next time you're at a party and the urge to dance strikes, just be glad it's not 1518. Because back then, things got a little too footloose for comfort.